Welcome back, focused learners. Today, we're expanding that mental toolkit with day 2 of Mastering Advanced Vocabulary. We've got a fantastic lineup of 11 absolutely powerful words, all starting with the letter A. Now, if you've been hanging out with us in this series, you know the drill. We aren't just going to stare at a list and forget it by tomorrow. No way. We're going to take a clear, highly structured, and super engaging journey through these terms using our proven Learn, Apply, Verify method. By the time we wrap up this explainer, these words, they're going to be permanently locked into your active vocabulary. Let's do this. Okay, let's dive into this. Our lesson plan today has 4 quick parts. 1. Abstract ideas and actions. 2. Harsh words and bitter truths. 3. Story time. And finally, 4. Test your knowledge. Section 1. Abstract ideas and actions. We're starting off with some neutral, positive, and action-oriented words to build up our everyday toolkit. All right, our very first word today is abstinent. That's pronounced abstinent. It's an adjective that basically means choosing not to do or have something you really enjoy, especially things like rich food or alcohol. For example, you might say, he remained abstinent from sweets during the whole month. It's really all about self-restraint and willpower. Think about it for a second. Have you ever been abstinent from a bad habit? Maybe giving up sugar for a bit or, going on a digital detox and staying off social media. That strict discipline is exactly what this word captures. Next up, we have abstract, pronounced abstract. This is an adjective used to describe something that exists strictly as an idea, not as a physical object. Like freedom is an abstract concept that's pretty hard to define exactly, right? You literally can't hold freedom in your hands, but you absolutely know it exists. We deal with abstract ideas all the time, in philosophy, art, strategy, you name it.
Now, what happens if an abstract idea gets, way too complicated? We might need our next word, abstruse. Pronounced abstruse, also an adjective. This means difficult to understand or deeply obscure. For instance, the professor's abstruse lecture on quantum physics left most students totally confused. It's actually a fantastic word to pull out when you're stuck reading overly dense, jargon-heavy material, or sitting through one of those deeply obscure lectures that honestly seems designed to confuse you rather than enlighten you.
Let's shift gears to something much more positive. Accolade. Pronounced accolade. This noun means an award or a big expression of praise for an achievement. Picture this. The young scientist received many accolades for her discovery. We all love a bit of recognition, right? So, what accolades or praises have you received recently at work or at school? Whenever someone is honored for their sheer hard work, they're receiving an accolade. Moving on, our next word is an action, and honestly, a rather bold one. Accost, pronounced accost. This verb means to approach and speak to someone boldly or aggressively, like a stranger accosted her on the street asking for money. So it's definitely not just a friendly, casual greeting. It implies a sudden, often uninvited, and kind of aggressive confrontation. Now, on the total flip side of a bold confrontation, we have acquiesce. Pronounced acquiesce. This verb means to accept something without protest, even if you really aren't fully in agreement with it. It's that familiar feeling of just giving in. Think of this. After much debate, the manager finally acquiesced to the team's request. They didn't necessarily love the idea, actually scratch that, they probably slightly disagreed with it, but they just stopped fighting it. To wrap up our first section, we have a truly phenomenal noun. Acumen. Pronounced acumen. This is the ability to make good, quick judgments, a real sharpness of mind. For example, her business acumen helped the small shop grow into a large company. So the crucial point is that acumen isn't just raw intelligence, it's street smarts. It's quick processing and sharp decision-making applied to a very specific area. Section 2. Harsh words and bitter truths. Just a quick warning for you here, this next cluster of words deals with the more negative, harsh aspects of life. We're kicking off this darker section with abysmal. Slowly sound it out with me. Abysmal. This adjective describes something that is extremely bad or very deep, literally like an abyss. The team's performance this season has been abysmal. It's so much stronger than just saying something is bad. Have you ever had a Monday that wasn't just tough, but absolutely abysmal? Where literally nothing at all went right? That's exactly the heavy weight this word carries. Next is acrid, pronounced acrid. Now this adjective strictly relates to the physical senses. It means having a harsh, strong, bitter smell or taste, like an acrid smell of smoke filled the burning building. If you've ever accidentally burned plastic in the kitchen or walked past a heavy chemical exhaust, you know exactly what an acrid smell is. It's that smell that practically stings the back of your throat. Okay, let's look at how that bitterness translates into human emotion with a side-by-side comparison of two closely related adjectives. And this brilliantly illustrates the real nuance of the English language. On the left, we have acerbic, pronounced acerbic. This means sharp, harsh, or bitter in tone. For example, his acerbic remarks about her cooking hurt her feelings. It's a quick, biting comment. On the right, we have acrimonious, pronounced acrimonious. This means full of anger and bitterness, especially in a drawn-out argument. Like, the couple's acrimonious divorce lasted for over 2 years. So to put it simply, acerbic is a sharp tone of voice in a passing moment, while acrimonious describes a deep, ongoing, intensely angry dynamic. Section 3. Story time. Nadia's journey. All right, everybody, gather round. We are now going to see all 11 of these words live and breathe in a real-world scenario with a student named Nadia. Our story begins with Nadia's intense focus. Nadia had always been an abstinent student, deliberately skipping weekend parties to completely focus on her studies. However, her philosophy professor's abstract and heavily abstruse theories still left her utterly confused. I mean, despite her self-restraint and extreme dedication, she felt totally overwhelmed and genuinely thought her final exam result was going to be completely abysmal. But the story doesn't end there. Let's move to and see how this builds. To Nadia's absolute surprise, she didn't fail. No way. In fact, she received an accolade for writing the best essay in the entire class. But her moment of triumph was completely interrupted. On her way home, a rude classmate tried to accost her on the sidewalk, stepping right into her path and making acerbic, unprovoked, biting jokes about her unexpected success.
So, how does she handle it? Well, Nadia wisely chose not to acquiesce to his petty insults. She flat out refused to give in and engage. Instead, she just smelled the acrid smoke of his cheap cigarette, turned, and simply walked away. Their short but deeply acrimonious exchange proved once again that her calm, brilliant conflict resolution and sharp acumen was far, far stronger than his empty, bitter words. And boom, that is how you powerfully apply advanced vocabulary in context.
Section 4. Test your knowledge. All right, it's game time. I challenge you to a rapid-fire fill-in-the-blank quiz right now to really lock in your retention. Let's see what you've got. Here is your first challenge. Read along with me. The report was full of blank jargon that no one in the meeting understood. I'll give you a second. What is the precise word for deeply obscure, incredibly difficult to understand information? The answer is abstruse. Yes, if you got that right, massive congratulations to you. Just a quick reminder, when abstract ideas get way too dense and confusing, they become abstruse. Okay, let's try one more. Here is the sentence, her sharp blank for spotting good investments made her very rich. Think back to the first section. Which word perfectly defines quick, sharp judgment and the ability to make brilliant, calculated decisions? The correct answer is acumen. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how absolutely crucial this specific trait is in the business world. It isn't just about being generally smart. It's about having the specific, sharp intuition required to succeed. Let's take a final look at our complete word bank for today. We covered abstinent, abstract, abstruse, abysmal, accolade, accost, acerbic, acquiesce, acrid, acrimonious, and acumen. Whew, that's a lot. But remember, spaced repetition is literally the absolute best way to make these advanced concepts stick in your memory. I highly encourage you to review these terms throughout your week. And that brings us to the end of today's explainer. But before we go, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought, a real challenge for you. Which of these 11 words will you use to elevate your very next conversation? Seriously, don't just leave this knowledge behind when this explainer ends. Step out into the real world, find an opportunity today, and confidently apply your powerful, newly expanded vocabulary. Keep learning, keep growing, and I'll see you in the next one.